Your brain fundamentally changes its structure when exposed to toxic relationship patterns, creating neural pathways that make harmful partners feel more attractive than healthy ones. Neuroscientists have discovered that repeated exposure to unpredictable relationship dynamics literally rewires our reward systems, making us crave the very experiences that cause emotional damage. This process happens where neurons form stronger connections around memories associated with intense emotional experiences, whether positive or negative. The brain cannot distinguish between excitement from danger and excitement from genuine attraction, which explains why toxic partners often feel more thrilling than stable ones. The dopamine reward system plays a central role in this destructive attraction cycle. When we encounter unpredictable behavior from romantic partners, our brains release dopamine in anticipation of potential reward, creating the same neurochemical response seen in gambling addiction. This system evolved to help our ancestors survive by making them alert to uncertain but potentially beneficial situations. However, in modern relationships, this same mechanism makes inconsistent partners feel more exciting than those who provide steady affection. The unpredictability creates a dopamine hit that consistent kindness cannot match, leading us to interpret chaos as passion and stability as boredom. Intermittent reinforcement schedules create the strongest behavioral conditioning patterns known to psychology, and toxic relationships often follow these exact patterns. When a partner alternates between affection and withdrawal, attention and neglect, the brain responds by increasing its investment in the relationship. This happens because intermittent rewards create more powerful neural connections than consistent ones. The brain essentially becomes addicted to trying to predict when the next positive interaction will occur, creating an obsessive focus on the unpredictable partner. This mechanism explains why people often report feeling more intensely connected to partners who treat them poorly compared to those who are consistently loving. Neural pathways formed during childhood create templates for adult romantic attraction that operate below conscious awareness. The brain develops these patterns based on early caregiver relationships, establishing baseline expectations for how love should feel and function. Children who experienced inconsistent caregiving develop neural networks that associate love with uncertainty and emotional intensity. These early formed pathways become so deeply embedded that they guide adult partner selection without conscious input. The familiarity of these patterns makes toxic relationship dynamics feel normal and even comforting, despite their harmful effects. Stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline can actually intensify romantic feelings, creating a biochemical confusion between danger and attraction. When we encounter threatening or unpredictable situations with romantic partners, our bodies release stress hormones that increase heart rate, heighten awareness, and create physical sensations similar to those experienced during romantic attraction. This physiological response can make toxic relationships feel more intense and meaningful than healthy ones. The brain interprets these stress responses as signs of deep connection, creating a false association between emotional turmoil and true love. Brain imaging studies have revealed distinct activation patterns in individuals consistently attracted to harmful partners. These studies show that attraction to toxic partners involves both heightened emotional reactivity and diminished logical reasoning capacity. The emotional centers of the brain become hyperactive, while areas responsible for rational decision-making show decreased activity when these individuals encounter toxic relationship scenarios. The rational mind frequently loses battles against these deep-seated neural responses because conscious thought processes operate much more slowly than automatic emotional reactions. The limbic system, which governs emotional responses and attraction, can process information and trigger reactions within milliseconds. Meanwhile, the prefrontal cortex, responsible for logical analysis and decision-making, requires several seconds to evaluate situations and generate rational responses. This timing difference means that attraction decisions are often made before conscious thought can intervene, explaining why people consistently choose partners they intellectually know are wrong for them. Trauma bonding creates neurochemical connections that closely mimic genuine love, making it difficult to distinguish between authentic attachment and psychological conditioning. This process involves the release of oxytocin and vasopressin, the same hormones present in healthy romantic bonds, during cycles of abuse and reconciliation. The intensity of these neurochemical releases during trauma bonding often exceeds those found in stable relationships, creating bonds that feel more powerful than healthy connections. The brain interprets these intense chemical responses as evidence of deep love, making trauma-bonded relationships feel more meaningful and irreplaceable than they actually are. The stress response system can become dysregulated through exposure to toxic relationships, creating a cycle where calm, healthy interactions feel foreign and uncomfortable. When someone becomes accustomed to high levels of relationship stress, their nervous system adapts by maintaining a constant state of hypervigilance. This adaptation makes peaceful relationships feel boring or even threatening because the nervous system interprets the absence of chaos as a sign that something dangerous might be approaching. The brain essentially becomes addicted to crisis mode, making toxic relationships feel more natural than healthy ones. Understanding these neurological processes represents the first step toward breaking free from destructive attraction patterns. Awareness of how the brain creates these responses helps separate automatic reactions from conscious choices, creating space for different decisions. The brain's neuroplasticity means that these deeply embedded patterns can change with consistent effort and awareness. However, this process requires patience because established neural networks resist change and will continue to influence attraction patterns until new ones become stronger.